Hello, my friends, and welcome to episode 39 of the Kiss Army Nation podcast, the final episode of 2021. We are your hosts. I'm Pasquale Veri.
And I am Claudio Spera. Welcome to the show, everyone.
So, Claudio, as you know, 2021 continued to have its challenges, but, one thing is for certain, it was filled with many KISStoric experiences and moments. So, on this episode, we're going to take a KISStoric retrospective of the year that was 2021.
Absolutely. A very interesting year for us, for KISS fans. But we can't begin this episode without talking about, the passing of Francis Stuber, a great member of the KISS family. We miss him so much. Did you ever have the chance to meet him, Pask?
Unfortunately not. I knew of Francis, of course. I knew who he was and what he did for the KISS Army. But, I really had no idea, unfortunately, until his passing, of the impact that he had on so many fans. Apparently, he was like such a nice guy. Not apparently, I know he was such a nice guy. But he gave so much to the fans. And through several podcasts that I listened to, I loved the fan stories of people's interactions with Francis backstage, having drinks somewhere. Such an amazing guy, and obviously with any passing of a life, it's a shame. But this is really a shame for the KISS Army, definitely. How about you?
It is. It's same here. So I never had the chance to kind of exchange any kind of words with him. I remember same as you. I remember seeing him on the cruise, and I remember thinking when he was setting up, the instruments for the Sail Away show and all of that, he seemed to have such a strong connection with the KISS fans. Even I remember one night during the karaoke, which is a great part of the KISS cruise, he was, around people, giving out, pics and stuff. Such an amazing guy. But yeah, same as you say, by seeing all the posts on Facebook and the social media of all the fans, photos with him. It's really sad, at such a young age, and he was gone in a couple of days. It's devastating. So again, in the name of on behalf of the KISS Army Nation podcast, our condolences to the family, friends, and fans of our dear Francis Stuber.
Yeah, one of the great things about being a KISS fan is that it allows us to take the real world and sort of put it in the back burner, just put it aside for a few hours and just forget about the realities and, enter the fantasy of the KISS world and listening to the greatest band in the land.
Absolutely.
And, and also, the passing of Francis, it really made us look back and, appreciate, what we have and the experiences that we've had with the band. And again, despite of everything that went on in 2021, it was a great time to be a KISS fan. We may not have been at the expos or at the concerts or, in our case, the KISS cruise, but there are so many other moments in KISStory that really shined, at least for me, and I'm sure for you, in 2021. So I want to begin our retrospective with obviously the very beginning of 2021, and that's the Dubai New Year's show. What are your thoughts and memories of that show?
I remember I didn't have actually big expectations at the beginning when it was announced. I thought to myself, well, this is going to be more of the same. But as we approached, the date of the concert, I really got so excited. And I have to say, I really loved the show, given the circumstances, all the setup and everything, as usual, in a KISS manner. It was huge. It was, out of scale, I have to say. And believe it or not, as the band was playing the final chords of Rock and Roll All Night, and the pyro, started to kick in, I was in tears, man. So at 53 now, with more than 40 years being a Kiss fan, I was in tears. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And this is how great the show was for me. Really standout performance. I think the environment helped a lot. No crowd, but anyways, I think it was a great transmission. Also, the quality and all of that. That was fantastic. How about you, Pasc? How did you live that moment?
Well, I remember at the beginning of the year, Brenda was having a difficult time during Christmas and New Year's because she couldn't spend it with her family. So I really worked hard to make sure, I could come up with something special for Christmas and New Year's for her, something that she wouldn't forget. And, for me, last Christmas and New Year's was the best time I've had, really, because it was some really awesome quality time with my girlfriend, and
Awesome.
it was incredible, and it was fantastic that the Dubai show was part of that experience. That morning I had my Kiss apron. I wore my one of my Kiss masks. I made breakfast for Brenda. I set up the house. I kissed the house, and set the TV up for the transmission of the show. Getting ready to watch the show here in Montreal. It aired at 12, I believe, right?
Yeah,
Aired at 12.
yeah.
And so that was part of the entire experience. So again, like you, yeah, I'm sure it was going to be the same old show. I knew it was going to be a continuation of the end of the road tour, but I didn't care because, again,
That's right.
it's always been about the experience.
Yeah.
And now I got to experience, not with other Kiss fans, but with Brenda. And we sat down and watched the show together and just had a great time. A couple of weeks later, I invited a friend of mine who didn't see the show, and we watched a repeat of it. And she was just flipping out over the show. The pyrotechnics, the whole spectacle of the entire thing, and it was fun watching it again through my friend's eyes, and that excitement came back even with the second showing. So that was really a great start to the new year. It went to show that Kiss isn't done yet. There's still things to come, and it made me sort of sit back and go, okay, I can't wait what Kiss has in store for us in 2021. And as we're going to talk about in this episode, there's a lot
of stuff
that went on, for sure.
A lot of stuff. I do remember that when the show, when the transmission was about to begin, we were chatting. We were sending messages, you and I. It was so much excitement, and I think it it was so good. It was actually all of the fans were happy, and of course now with the news of the stuff that hasn't been shipped out to the fans, that kind of that's a bummer. But at that moment, I think it was a great start of the year. So I think it's great, doing this retrospective, going through the 2021. So another big milestone in 2021 was the release of Paul Stanley's Soul Station back in March. Okay, and even if it's not technically Kiss, were you excited about Paul releasing new music?
Listen, at this point, I'm not sure if I'm more a Kiss fan or more of a Paul Stanley fan.
Oh wow!
I love everything that he does, and any new project that Paul comes out with, I get excited about it. I remember years ago in '99 when he came out with Phantom of the Opera. I was so excited about that. It wasn't Kiss, but it showed his diversity, his creative diversity musically. Yeah. His paintings too. I went to his art gallery a few years ago to buy one of his paintings. I met him. We talked art. I love seeing his different creative sides other than Kiss. Mm-hmm. So when he announced Soul Station, sorry, Kiss fans, but I was as excited for this album as I knew Kiss album was coming out. I was just as excited. It's a new Paul Stanley album, mm-hmm. And when I listened to it, I mean, it's not my type of music. I'm going to be honest, but I did enjoy it better because it came from Paul.
Mhm.
And I did really enjoy his originals. You
Okay.
know, I hope, because I heard online recently that he's been back in the studio with Soul
Yeah,
Station.
he's back in the studio. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm hoping he's coming out with new material, another album. And personally, I really hope it's more just originals in that style rather than doing other covers, you know? Um, but again, I had another friend. I had listened to this album, and she loves the artists and the music of that era. And when she listened to it, she was like losing her mind. It
Really.
sounds like the original. I can't tell the difference between the original and Paul's version. And she really also enjoyed the original stuff that Paul wrote. And
Mhm.
she's not a Kiss fan at all, and she really enjoyed his music. And now Paul has a new fan
There you
because
go.
of it, you know.
There you go.
And again, I got to relive the music through the eyes of somebody else. It's always exciting.
Yeah.
And you know, this album came out in March. We're in December now. Every once in a while, I slap on the vinyl on my record player and I listen to it. You know, when I'm working, it's fantastic background music. Sometimes I
It
stop
is.
and
Indeed.
shake my head, and it's
Indeed.
I'm so glad he came out with it, and it's great to see Paul passionate about something.
That's great.
How about you?
Well, to me, when it's about Paul, to me, he's full circle as an artist. You said it before. Painting, music. Everything that he does, he has a real stamp on it. Okay, he's not copying anybody. It has his own spin all the time. So was I excited? Absolutely. I was, flipping. I was, so anxious to get the material. And let me say that every time there is new music from any member of the band,
Yeah.
present or past, I really get into it. I can't wait. And I didn't know, actually, to be honest with you, I didn't know what to expect. And I was really, really gladly surprised. Again, like you, soul is not my cup of tea, but I have to say that for instance, at this age, I really love Peter's solo album of the '78. That at that time, I didn't dig it, but now it's completely different. So then, same as you, I revisited the album not so long ago. I was doing some work at home, and I just played the whole thing over and over again, and I like it even more now than before. Okay, so and the originals to me are awesome. I love Save Me, Laura Lee. Those songs are so unique, and the renditions that he made in the album for the hits, for the soul hits, actually exceeded my expectations. So yeah, I can't wait for the. I was so happy when I saw that he was back in the studio with the guys, and I have, I think that he's gonna maybe come up with, who knows, 8, 10 originals and a couple of covers. I would be so happy
I hope so.
if he does that. That would be awesome.
So I have a question for you. We often hear the criticism, well, Paul doesn't want to release a new Kiss album, but he released a Soul Station album.
Yes.
How do you personally feel about that?
Oh, well, that's a great question. Nothing wrong with Paul releasing his own material, but I would really love if he gets in the studio with Gene, Eric, and Tommy, and they release new music. His justification is saying that even though they come up with new music, people will always try to listen to the hits and to the well-known songs. I don't think that's fair for diehard fans like us. How do I feel about it? Well, as I said, nothing wrong with him releasing his own music, but I would love to have a new Kiss album. Definitely. You?
I like you. I don't buy the argument that it's not going to sell. Soul Station, I'm sure, didn't sell very well.
That's right. That's right. Exactly.
I think personally that he's lost a passion in doing new Kiss music, and he really had the passion for doing Soul Station, and that's why he did it. He did it solely for creative purposes and for himself. And whether it made money or not, I don't think he cared.
No.
But if he's going to do a Kiss album, I would rather that he does it with passion. And if he didn't, I'd rather he didn't do the album, because we would just have a subpar album or a paint by numbers album.
Yeah, that's right. If we, that's a subject in itself. So if we want to talk about, a new Kiss album, to me, it would be great if we get an outside producer. If they get someone like, well, I know my dream come true, Bob Ethring or someone like, who. So Paul, it's all about writing material, playing with the guys. Don't get into the production stuff. Let someone else do it. That's what I would love. I wouldn't like to have another Monster or Sonic Boom, to be honest with you. Even though they're part of KISSstory, I think that era is done. It would be nice for the guys, to boost their creativity and write music and get someone else deal with the production. But hopefully, I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen. But anyways, in the meantime, we have to enjoy what Paul gives us on Soul Station, I guess.
Exactly. And I also get my rocks off of, like you said, other Kiss related albums coming out. I just got the Eric Carr Rockology, the picture disc. They're coming out with a couple of reissues of the Peter Criss vinyl. Ace Frehley continues to bring out music. It's fantastic. So there's always Kiss or Kiss related music out there, and that we're going to get. That's never going to stop.
Keep us happy. That's
exactly.
Right.
So let's fast forward to June, the big A&E biography. What are your thoughts about that show?
Wow. As we discussed in one of the episodes, I think it was a discussion panel, if I remember well.
Yes.
I have to say it is in my top 3 of Kiss videos or documentaries. I really love the approach and the fact that in 3 hours, they were able to capture the most important milestones of the band. And some never before seen, footage. I think it's a really good introduction for someone who doesn't know what Kiss is. If you see that, so you're already there, you're immersed. But what I love the most about the show, about the documentary, is how Gene and Paul acknowledged their mistakes, how they came clean, and the fact that they didn't blast Ace and Peter as we were expecting. There was a little bit of a thing there that they said, a couple of things, but I was expecting much more. And I couldn't have liked, that Gene and Paul take the great opportunity to be on A&E just to blast, Ace and Peter. I loved it. I still watch it on a regular basis, and I enjoy it very, very much. I love when Paul and Gene are in the couch there, relaxed and talking and remembering the good old days. It is really good. To me, it's outstanding. I really love it. What's your take on that? How did you like it?
Oh, I really loved the show. And again, I didn't notice too many, like photos and stuff that I didn't see before. We talked about this before in that discussion panel episode. But again, what I loved about this episode, that even though Kiss is on their end of the road tour, new people are experiencing the band. And, I was sort of watching the show from the point of view of a new fan. And just imagine a new fan discovering this band and what they're seeing in this show. It was really something else. And again, I have yet another friend who it wasn't a Kiss fan, watched the show, and then became a fan. I have a neighbor here on the second floor. Didn't know Kiss from a hole in the wall till he met me. He moved into the building. He saw my collection, became intrigued. He's watching the podcast. He's listening to more and more of Kiss music. He watched the show and really enjoyed it from the point of view of a new fan or a fan getting to know the band. Okay. Because it's not about just Kiss, it's about the music world.
That's right.
Exactly. And what these people go through in this business, whether you like Kiss or not, you really have to appreciate what they went through to make it, all the ups and the downs, and that after nearly 50 years, they're still here.
Yeah,
that's an incredible achievement. And I think this show, the A&E show, is really their crown that they could put on their head. You know, this is what we accomplished beyond all odds. You know, regardless of what critics think of us or what some people thought of us, what parents thought of us, we're still here, we're still rocking, and we're still on top. That's just an amazing achievement, and no one could ever take away that from the band. Never.
It is true. But let me ask you something, Pask. You touched on something that it's really, really interesting. Did you perceive like it was more a kind of a Paul to Gene and Gene to Paul saying thank you for this brotherhood, you know, thank you for being next to me all the time, and you know how we brought this band together. Look at what we accomplished. Did you see that kind of Paul and Gene show, kind of you know, saying thank you to each other?
I remember in previous interviews, Paul was saying how back in the day, Kiss was his family. But once the band stepped off the stage, he never felt so alone. And everybody else went off to their families, you know? Yeah. And I remember another interview recently where, you know, Paul said right in front of Gene, Kiss is my job. My family is back home. And I just remember the hurt feeling that Gene had in that interview, because I think Paul now, you know, with his family and his kids and everything, obviously all of his priority is there, and Kiss is just a job for him. And as much as he says that Gene is my brother of 50 years and, you know, blah, 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 there's been a lot of ups and downs with that relationship. They are two totally different people. And sometimes when you put those two people in one room, oh boy, you know, it gets pretty bad. So I'm sure there were moments where they didn't see each other for the longest of times. And the only time they got together was to do a job and then to go home. Mm-hmm. To answer your question, when they were sitting on that couch, I felt like it was for real. It felt like they were both looking back at their years together and how much their friendship really means to each other, and that they couldn't have done all of this without each other. And they have each other to thank to be where they are now in their life. And I think right in front of the camera, right in front of us, they realize this.
Yeah. You know, some I was reading some reviews and some fans were saying that it's all scripted and blah, blah, blah. But I really felt, same as you, that it was for real, you know, that it was for real. And I loved, you know, seeing that, you know, even though, you know, these guys are almost in their 70s and we are in our 50s. I don't care. To me, it was like a breath of fresh air, you know, seeing those guys, you know, so emotional at a point in time.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, so let's move on. So we're gonna go to the month of August now. So Kiss resumed the end of the tour, the end of the road tour. Sorry, the end of the road tour in Massachusetts, and as we all know, the Canadian border and the U.S. was still closed at that time. I know that you normally go to the U.S. to see, you know, the shows and meet with the Kiss family and friends. Were you disappointed you couldn't make the show?
Oh yeah. That one hurt. That one hurt. A lot of my friends, a lot of people that I knew were at that show. I was planning on going to the Massachusetts show, and I think it was the Bangor show as well. The next day or 2 days later, couldn't make either of them. And mind you, listen, I was happy for the people that were there, that they were having a good time. I heard it was a fantastic show. It was the first time in how many months that fans got to see Kiss live on stage again. And they just seemed to have had a blast at the show, you know. And yeah, of course, I wish I was there. I wish I could have shared the experience with them. But, you know, that wasn't the reality of it. I've already saw the show, 9 times already? And I'm going to see... I'm going to see them again. And, you know,
Yeah,
when
for
Kiss
sure.
does their final show, you know, I'm going to be there. I hope I'm going to be there.
We'll be
So to
there.
me, it's not like, oh, this is my last chance to see the band. No, it won't be my last chance.
Yeah,
But
there's
it was more about, I was disappointed more about not being able to see my friends again,
that's right.
to get together. I sort of envisioned, you know, hey, getting together again after all these months. How's it
Yeah,
going? Talking, doing a pre-party, an after party, and
that's
just
right.
the
That's right.
party continues after the show, you know.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
that wasn't the reality. How did
Yeah.
you feel about it?
Well, same thing. You know, we are so used to cross the border. You know, to come and see the band. You know, meet the family, the Kiss family. You know, being part of events. You know, and get-togethers and all of that. That's actually what makes it so special. It's not only for the show, right? So, but yeah, as we know, all that was gone. You know, due to the pandemic, and of course, we have to be safe. We have to take care of ourselves, you know, and be respectful to other people too. So, yeah, the circumstances were not there to let us go. But yeah, so I can't wait. You know, can't wait for the next show, the next set of shows, no matter where they are, whether they come back to Canada or US. But we'll be there, you know, for the fun, you know, to meet the Kiss family most of all.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, for me, another milestone for 2021 is, you know, doing this podcast, which, by the way, came out with what, March 21st. And now here we are, 39 episodes later. You know? But you know, I couldn't get the opportunity to see the Kiss family in person. So this podcast is a great way to meet old friends, to make new friends, and you know, to basically have the opportunity to talk to people on a level that normally we wouldn't have the opportunity if we saw them even at a concert or on an expo.
Yeah,
You know,
true.
and you know, one of those people is Alan Bellicha, you know, the author of Kiss on Tour, 1974 to 83. That book was released in September, and we had the honor of having him on the show.
Mhm.
And you know, as our listeners know, we also discussed the book with Alan, and we discussed the book amongst ourselves in a discussion panel episode.
Mhm.
So for you, you know, how was this book sort of, you know, different from other Kiss merchandise that was released in 2021?
Uh, you know, it is always great when you see merch coming directly from the fans. I think that's really special. And I think that Alain's book is the perfect example. You know, it's made with passion. Um, the material is amazing. You know, photos that we had never seen before. The format was something that actually, you know, it just is so unique. You know, the approach. It's kind of a scrapbook. You know, and that's what really it captures memories. Okay, it's not just a book of going through photos and graphics and all of that. It's a true journey back in time. So I find myself, when I look at that, and I do it on a regular basis, when I do that, you know, I flip pages, and sometimes I spend, you know, I don't know, 5-10 minutes just on 2 pages. And I go back to when I was 15 years old, you know, 14 years old, you know, and this is really unique. It's really difficult to achieve something like that with a book, and very unique. You know, congrats and kudos to Alain. It's amazing material. I hope he's gonna come up with something else, you know, soon. As you said before, you know, he has our full support. We had a great episode with him, and what I loved about that episode, if you haven't watched it, please go and check it out. It's the approach. We didn't discuss the book as Alain did in some of the other, you know, great podcasts out there. We discussed memories. You know, it's moments in time. You know. Using the book as a kind of a kicking it off, you know. So that's amazing. How did you feel about the book and the episode?
It's interesting because, you know, even during this episode, I'm starting to realize the pattern of these milestones in 2021. We didn't have the opportunity to maybe experience the band in reality, physically being there, but it's through. And if anybody asks us why do we collect, here's why we collect. It's about the experience. It's about the memories. It's about creating experiences with other like-minded fans. The Dubai show did that. The release of Soul Station did that. The release of the A&E biography did that. And looking at the shows in Massachusetts in September, it brought back the idea that thank God we have this podcast to be able to have these experiences with fans. Mm-hmm. And this book, Alan's book, is no different. Like you said, it brought back memories. The book basically are moments in time, and when you go through it, especially the scrapbook portion of the book, which I thought was so amazing. I just love the layout of it. It brought back memories of my childhood when I got into KISS in 1976. Right. And those iconic pictures of the band that it's just, again, almost 50 years later, it's like we're looking at these pictures and the mystique is still there because I remember the feeling of seeing those photos of the band so many years ago, and that a book can bring that out in somebody is an incredible achievement. It really is. And this is definitely one of my favorite books, especially the recent books that came out. And I'm still going through it. It's not something you flip through it and it's over.
No.
Piece by piece by piece.
You have to go, on a regular basis. It's like food. You need your KISS, boost one day, and you just go to that book, man, and you get it. It's interesting what you said before. Even though because of the pandemic, the band was not so active. Of course, it started touring, in September. But in my case, through the podcast and through the material that we're discussing here, I felt closer to the band than in some of the years when they were touring all the time. Because of the kind of material that they released. I think KISS is kind of paving its way to what's coming in the future, because we know that that they're not going to be playing, that they're not going to be touring anymore. Maybe a couple of shows here and there, Vegas, whatever. But I think by giving us this kind of material and what the fans are coming up with, that's the way to keep the flame alive. So it's that was fantastic. 2021, man, what a year, I have to say.
I just want to make one more point. If this year is any indication, I think we have an amazing future ahead of us in terms of material being released. Yes, because, with KISS not being around touring, like you said, I think they're starting to listen to the fans. And we're getting material that means something now. It's not just the next Funko or Lunchbox or whatever. It's stuff that really, it brings us back in time. And I'm looking forward to more. We'll talk about it more in this episode, but the box set, the soundboard stuff, the A&E documentary, it's just wow, And
I think they're testing the water with the fans. They're testing that. KISS has always been about try and error. There's no doubt about that. So that's KISSstory. So they're doing that. So some of the fans, for instance, you mentioned soundboard. Some of the fans, they loved it. Some others didn't. We're talking about the graphics and the cover and the sound and this and that. They're testing the water, man. So they're gonna come up with some great material, really soon. I hope
for
so.
sure.
I really hope so. So now let's move on to September. So our dear spaceman goes out on tour with Alice Cooper. So again, we couldn't go to that show due to the border restrictions, but based on the videos that you saw, Pask, what are your thoughts about the show?
Oh, that one hurt too. I love Alice Cooper.
Oh yeah.
And I wish I saw that show. A lot of fans were disappointed that he only played Kiss songs and he didn't
Yeah.
play stuff from his solo album. I don't know. I think the song sounded great. I
Mhm.
think the songs appealed to the casual Kiss fan.
Mhm.
I'm not so sure people went to see Ace. The majority of the fans, that is, they went to see Alice Cooper,
Yeah.
and they might not be familiar with a lot of the Ace material. So he ended up playing more of the familiar Kiss stuff. And
Mhm.
that's, I think, a great entryway for him to get to new fans. And then from there, the fans get to discover the Ace Frehley material.
Of
So I
course.
think that was, I think that was well played on his part. And I think it's also really cool that he's also more active on social media. I love
Yeah.
the sock
Yeah.
photos,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
on
Yeah.
the road sock photos.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. I don't know if it's Ace that came up with that or his girlfriend came up with that, but
I don't know.
it was really it's really cool. It's a nice way
Yeah.
to connect with the fans and to see the human side of Ace Frehley. But
True.
I heard Alice Cooper was also amazing on
Hmm.
that show, and we had an interview with Philip Schaus,
Yes, sir.
and he was going off to that show
That's right.
just before our interview. You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
something else, man, something else. How did you
Something
feel?
else. Well, no doubt, I would have loved to be there. Um, one thing that I think is great, 2021 is you can tell that Ace is really into it now. Okay, sharp, clean, professional, and now talking about the shows and the tour. Needless to say about the band playing with him, Phil, uh, Jeremy, Ryan, and Matt, to me, are the perfect choices to bring the Kiss vibe alive again. We could discuss set list as you said before and other subjects, but I think that seeing Ace live was great. He's really active, and he seems to be enjoying his time touring. And this is a specific time in his life. I think that Lara brought a lot of energy, for Ace. I remember not so long ago he was playing. I don't remember where, but Lara she was streaming live on Facebook from the side of the stage. Okay, and and I thought it was going to be only one, two, three songs. She streamed the whole show from the side, and so that was really, really unique. And Ace was coming closer to the camera, and
Mm.
with the smoke and stuff, and even Phil and the guys. Great vibes, positive. I have my take on the set list. I think that maybe, as you said before, um, getting Alice Cooper fans to get to know the Kiss stuff, it's one thing, but maybe Ace is trying to find his way back into playing with Kiss. Not only for the final show, but maybe for more than one show. I don't know. Paul and Gene, they seem to be closer to Ace than what they are with Peter. So
Mhm.
Peter, he seems to be lost in the Kiss camp. But Ace, I think he's really, even though he declares that it's all for the money and blah, 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 I think he's dying, to be part of the band again, even to play for a couple of shows. But who knows? We'll see.
That's interesting. He might not be physically with the band, but he's always going to be a part of the band.
Oh, yeah.
And every time he releases a new album, he goes on tour. To me, it's part of the Kiss experience.
There you go. Yes.
And I think it's fantastic that after all these years, Ace is still touring and doing fantastic. He's still coming up with records, and they sound amazing. I buy all of them. Actually, I found Spaceman, the Spaceman vinyl, in the wild in Quebec City last weekend. It's like,
Oh, wow.
I don't have this one. I couldn't believe it. I got a shelf full of just Ace material.
Oh, wow.
And it's great that he's still coming out with stuff.
Yeah,
And
he's really active now. He's working on Origins 3, and it's coming out. Playing with Pepe Castro.
yes,
Man, so active, man, love it. Love it.
Yeah, it's fantastic. But talking about our podcast today, our retrospective today, it's starting to look like this is really our historic events that we couldn't attend in 2021. Because now we're into October, and there's the Kiss Cruise, which unfortunately we couldn't be at, but apparently it was an amazing experience. Again, the fans were saying it was one of the best, despite the pandemic, despite all the restrictions and all the precautions, despite unfortunately, the international fans couldn't be there. The fans that were there had a great time. What did you hear from the fans?
Well, as you just said, I think not only it met the expectations, but exceeded the fans' expectations. So during the year with our podcast, we had full episodes, talking about the cruise and all that we had from people were positive comments, even from the 10-timers. So, it's not the casual, attendee. People that have been there for the other 9, they said that they had a blast. So the only bummer, I have to say, the only negative was the fact that many fans from different countries, couldn't make it to the cruise, and as we know, the cruise is all about meeting friends and being with the Kiss family. Of course, there are highlights like the Bruce Kulick show and all of that, but we all go there to meet with our friends, to have a good time. But hey, looking forward for the next one. We'll be there.
Oh, you better believe it. Hey, listen, we mentioned this several times in this podcast. I'm going to be on that cruise. Now we have to be on that cruise.
Of course,
no matter what.
What do you think about the cruise?
I'm sort of worried that we might not be able to get on the cruise because it might sell out so quickly. I'm willing to pay whatever it takes to get on that ship.
I think we're gonna make it. We'll find a way.
We'll make it happen. Talking with Raula and her experiences on the cruise, she had such a fantastic time. And again, despite everything that happened, the fans are still saying it was one of the best.
Yeah.
And why is it one of the best? Well, let's be honest. The Bruce Kulick band. it's become a highlight of the Kiss Cruise, and I hope they play on the 11th because I want to see that. I've seen it on videos, but I've never seen them live, and I really hope they're going to be on it. They're also playing Vegas on the 30th at Vamp in
Vegas.
In Vegas. So I wish I could see that show. But I think it's fantastic that they're playing outside of the Kiss Cruise. And maybe the Vamp show is going to be one of many, or the start of many. Let's hope. But now I digress. To answer your question, yes, I think the Kiss Cruise has always been about the Kiss family and coming together with like-minded fans, and that's what people come out remembering. I rarely hear them talk about seeing Kiss or seeing the concert.
Yeah, that's right.
It's always the people that they've seen, the things that they've done. We heard a lot about We Are One. They played that. That would have been cool to listen to live.
Oh yeah, big time.
And we often hear the argument that they're always playing the same songs, even on the Kiss Cruise, and now they're throwing in 1 or 2 obscure songs. Yeah, but those 1 or 2 obscure songs, they're pretty darn obscure. And it's great to hear live. And sometimes they might not sound too great, but they're making the effort. And as a Kiss fan, I really appreciate that they're making the effort for us because we know how much of a perfectionist Paul is.
Of course.
Every time he makes a mistake, he makes everybody know, oops, I made a mistake. Or just, just enjoy it and jam and have fun,
Yeah.
So
I think it is in our nature also to sometimes, being a fan for so long, so you have to whine and complain, sooner or later. But I think nobody can expect going to a cruise and expect that Kiss is gonna play, I don't know, 12, 13 obscure songs. That's impossible, man. It will never happen. But people go to the cruise anyways because it's all about meeting people. So when we talk to Rolla and Ron, 10-timers, all they mention, as you said before, hey, I missed, the guys from Europe, the guys from South America, guys from Canada, blah, blah, blah. So they don't talk about, the set list and all of that. Of course, it's a bonus, if you get more obscure songs. But I think at this point in time, it's not the essence of the cruise anymore. It's about us. It's about the fans.
Yeah, exactly. And if you ask me what I'm looking forward to most on Kiss Cruise 11, it's to see the Kiss family again.
There you go.
And everything Kiss, I think, yeah, it's a bonus. Whatever we get, we get.
That's
but
right.
it's seeing the people. I can't wait to party it up with them.
That's right. That's right. Hey, let's we talked about Ace. Of course, we talked about Kiss, the current lineup and all of that. Hey, let's talk about Peter Criss. So Peter, he made an appearance on John 5's album, playing drums on Georgia on My Mind. A well-known song. Have you heard it? What do you think?
Yeah, I heard the song. It's a good song. It's good knowing that Peter Criss is on it. It's good knowing that he's recording something else, that he's on a recording of some sort. It's nice to know that he's still active. You mentioned earlier that he sort of disappeared from the Kiss world. I don't know. I guess maybe, but it feels to me that he's happy.
Yeah, he is.
Remember the video he did from home?
Yeah, don't you let me down.
Yeah, that was so amazing. And at the end of it, how happy Peter was.
Yeah, he was like,
that was so nice to see. So no, Peter might not be in a prominent figure in the Kiss world right now, but at least he's happy. And whatever he's doing, I hope he's doing it out of passion, not because he's forced to or he has to do it. And I think this song is one of those examples. He did it because he wanted to. He was having a good time. Yeah. And John 5 he's a big Kiss fan, right? He have a video of his massive collection.
Whew.
That was something else.
Huge.
How did you feel about it?
Well, when I first got into it, when it starts, you have this, Peter's intro speech there that basically sets you in the right mood. And I don't know, man. Peter is so jazzy, so soul, and I really love this rendition. John 5, as you said before, is a huge Kiss fan. He's a class act, and what I do normally is I play this song as background music in a loop, but I love it. It sounds so 50s, 60s, nice vibe, nice sound. I love it.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier about rediscovering his solo album.
Yeah.
You and me both. I remember seeing Peter at his final show in New York City.
Yes,
and
sir.
He played a lot of his solo album stuff live, and it was at that show that I really gained an appreciation for that music and the background that he came from. So that he's doing something like Georgia on My Mind, it's an extension of what he did in his solo album, and it's really musically it's a part of who he is.
Yeah,
So listening to that song, you get a feel for who Peter Criss really is.
Absolutely, genuine. And I remember that. In one of the episodes when we had Andy, we discussed, of course, there was this dilemma in the Kiss family saying, okay, now Paul comes with Soul Station, and at that time, back in '78, Peter came up with a soul kind of solo album, and Kiss fans blasted him. But as you said, that's who Peter is. Peter is soul. That's he grew up with that music and he really feels it. And I think that's the music that makes him happy. So he's not playing, big drums on a rock tune. He's playing soul. He's playing jazzy stuff. That's how I find it.
So now we're into November. And the moment all Kiss fans have been waiting for, the release of the Destroyer 45th anniversary box set.
Yes, sir.
So, Claudio, describe your unboxing to us.
it was really emotional, I have to say, Pasc. I felt I was 10 years old again. Like in the old days, going through every single item and looking at it, for a long time, long minutes, and surprise after surprise. Even though I knew about the content of the box set, there is nothing, and I think you're going to agree with me, there is nothing that can be compared to have the stuff in your hands. Smell it, looking at it from different angles, lay everything down on a table, and looking at stuff, for a long time. If I have to say, use one word to describe, it was a trip. It was a trip, man, a true trip for me. It brings me joy and confirms one more time why being a Kiss fan is the best thing that can happen to a human being, man. So
Yeah.
that's to me. What about you? I want to know, man. So
Okay, listen. Before I go into that, I feel like I have to say this. As you know, you've heard a lot of other podcasters, other fans talk about the issue with the delivery with Kiss Online.
yes, sir.
Right? Okay, so we've all heard the arguments. Here's my take. If you're going to care, you're going to get hurt. And Kiss fans care. What happens every time there's a concert? Kiss fans are the first ones in line to get those tickets. And sometimes we get subpar tickets because only certain parts of the arena is reserved at that time. And what ends up happening to the casual fan who then goes to the show, 2 hours before, and they get the first of the 5 rows.
Yeah.
The casual fan, and the Kiss fan gets in the back somewhere or whatever. This is no different, right? I ordered from Kiss Online because I wanted to make sure I got the box set. I didn't know if it was going to be released elsewhere, on Amazon or in record stores. I didn't know. So my point being is that I ordered from Kiss Online because I was assured, I want to be assured that I was going to get it. And despite all the complaints about Kiss Online, I knew that it was going to be late. Every time I order a vinyl from Kiss Online, it's never released on time. Never. I expected that. And I honestly didn't care because I was assured that I was going to get it. And when I got that box set, wow, I discovered Kiss in 1976 with Destroyer. And opening up that box set, I rediscovered the band again.
Yeah.
And I have that Destroyer poster. I have the Kiss Army kit. I have the tour book, the originals. Still, opening up the box set and even seeing the reproduction of those things.
Exactly.
And with the CDs, I even bought the vinyl and I bought the separate CD. I put everything on a table. I laid everything out.
Yeah,
and when you really lay everything out, you see the magnitude of this box set. Oh, yeah. And, I still haven't gone through everything yet. I haven't read the book yet or the booklets yet. I haven't had time. But just looking at the certificate, wow, that's amazing. Yeah. Yes, I have the original. But right now, I'm not looking at the original. I'm looking at this box set. And I'm rediscovering the band all over again. And I'm playing the music as I'm looking at the stuff. And I felt like I was that 8-year-old kid way back in 1976. I think most people could say that. And the amount of work and detail and thought that went into this box set is second to none. And kudos to everybody that was involved. And I know some of our friends, Julian Gill, Andrew Scambatti, were also involved in this. That's so cool that people that we know are involved in this project.
Well, I think that's the beauty of getting, fans involved.
Yeah.
Because who better than us know what we want, right? So sometimes if you leave it to the band or if you leave it to, let's say, a third-party company, they might not get it. They might not get it. They don't know what really Kiss fans want. So I think that was a great move. To have people like Julian and Andrew involved. basically that's the proof that hey, it's for the fans, to the fans, by the fans. That's it.
And the best part of it, it wasn't that expensive. For what we got, the price was really good. And I hope that they don't raise the price. Now that this is so popular, they go, oh, we could raise it a little bit more. Fans are going to buy it. Yeah, we're going to buy it.
Yeah.
But the value of this thing for $200 US in our case,
yeah,
it was still, even with the shipping, even with the duty, and we got dinged with duty, man.
Oh yeah,
it was worth it. It was just a beautiful box set. And again, it was part of the 2021 KISS experience, having this an amazing piece of merchandise, amazing piece of music. And a lot of the demos I have on vinyl, I have on bootleg CDs. I've heard them before, but the quality.
Oh yeah.
My favorite disc is disc 2.
Yeah.
It's on heavy rotation. That CD.
Yeah, no, it's outstanding.
Love it. Sounds fantastic.
We were so much waiting for this kind of stuff, and I hope that they're going to continue with the same approach. It's good stuff. I think it's one of the main highlights of 2021. And another one, which is going to be great to discuss here, Pask, with you, is 2021. Finally, music from the Elder. It got some recognition. The release of the 40th anniversary vinyl, and it's worth mentioning. I think this is a big boost for music from the Elder. Is Christopher Berryart's project that it's called Ancient Door, a tribute to the music from the Elder. So with all the attention that the Elder received, Pask, do you think that the album gained more respect from the fans?
I think the album always had the respect of the fans. I think the album didn't get much respect by the band for whatever reason, but I believe the fans always enjoyed this album, and we always found the album to be underrated. Yeah. And we always thought, why isn't this album getting more love? So this year, with the release of the anniversary edition of The Elder and the Japanese cover edition, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that one in time. It sold out, but I caught the other version. And all the merchandise that came with it, the T-shirts, the lithographs, I want to buy all that stuff as well. It's cool that they have all this Elder merchandise as well. So people are now, I think, not rediscovering the album. I think they've pretty much, it's something that KISS fans, I think, enjoy, but are happy that it's getting the recognition that it deserves. Now, Christopher's project, Ancient Door.
Oh my God.
Oh, it was a pleasure to interview him on the show. And we ended up ordering like 10 CDs for our friends. A lot of people were interested in this. And I'm hearing the same thing from everybody. They're loving the album, the CD rather. They're loving the grandiosity of the entire thing. And I like The Elder, but I love this.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Some people, you love it more than the original album. Yeah, absolutely.
I like the order the songs were presented. It actually tells the story and the different effects. And, I've listened to this album several times now, and you always hear something new. With each listen. And I dare say that I like Ancient Door better than the original, and I go more towards Ancient Door than I do to the original. And Chris just wanted me to say that, but it's the truth. And I think this project, yes, it elevated the album even more so for KISS fans, because I think Ancient Door was what the Elder should have been, could have been. Yeah. And now, after all these years, we're getting a great rendition of that album. It's not. It's a tribute album, but it's almost like a remake of the album.
Yeah, it's a remake. Absolutely. Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Well, I'll try not to. I'll try not to repeat, what you just said, because we're on the same boat here. I concur with you. I think time is the best judge, and I think, as you said before, a big majority of the diehard fans love this album, without paying attention too much to what Gene and Paul have to say.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what happened in 2021 helped fans not to forget how great this album is. And actually the release of Christopher's masterpiece, I think it boosted even more the recognition this album really deserves. Really happy, going through the Ancient Door. It's a true journey. It's an experience. I have to say that at the very beginning, when The Elder was released, it took me some time to basically understand, the concept album. But with time, of course, I got into it. But Ancient Door, man, oh my God, man! It's I think it brings the album to a new level, definitely.
Absolutely. This has been a really fun episode to sort of look back at the year 2021, and not once did we mention any live KISS experiences, but a lot of it is in the merch and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
But still, this year is just equally as special, for me anyway. I'm sure for you as well in KISStory. But before we close the show, we can't wrap up this episode without giving a shout out to many of the people who have supported us and helped us along the way. And if I may, I want to start by once again giving a huge shout out to Andy Moyen. We started this podcast together back in March, and he's the one that kicked my butt to do a podcast. He's been bugging me for years to do one, and I never felt ready, or
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think I had the ability to do it, And with COVID, I was in a downward spiral because I missed my KISS community, and I really wanted to somehow reconnect. So when he mentioned the podcast, like, it clicked. Yes, I've got to do this. So if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here doing this podcast right now. So
There you go.
thank you so much to Andy Moyen, and a thank you for the time that he spent on this podcast.
There you go. Well, I fully, agree with that. And let me join you on wishing, and thanking Andy. We love him, and we're so happy that he's healthy. He was going through some tough times this year, but we're so glad to see him around again. Kissing rock shows and everything, and love it. So big kisses for him and Kim. And we also want to thank a huge part of our podcast. They were always part of our discussion panels. They were always behind the scenes, giving us, tips and suggestions. Patrick de Montigny, our dear friend Pat, Craig Patton, our brother. So thank you so much. And of course, our beautiful Rolla Brown. Thank you so much for being part of the show.
Also want to thank Julian Gill, Cameron Duty, Ken Mills, and Matt Porter for their words of wisdom in helping us to get this podcast off the ground.
And of course, we need to thank Alexander Talkington of Alexander Graphics for creating the look of this podcast with his amazing graphics.
Now, this podcast wouldn't be possible without all of our amazing guests. So let's go down the list. So a huge thank you to Jim Bass, Ron Albanez, Robert Conte, again, Rolla Brown for appearing on our fan profile episode, Cameron Duty having the distinction of providing the first and to date only performance on the podcast. Once again, thank you to Matt Porter and Ken Mills for appearing on our Adventures in Podcasting episode, as well as Mitch Lafont and Jeremy White.
We also want to thank Chris Ritchie, David Frenberg, Megan Ketchison, Bill Starkey, Robert Bentley, John Downs, David Pea, Clyde Clark, Dominique Cote, Kevin Ganley, and Phil Schaus.
And the shout-outs continue with Ron Buckley, Joe D'Angelo, Andrew Rodriguez, Cecilia Davis, Pepe Castro, Ellen Belcha, and Anthony DeLucia Jr.
And finally, thank you to James Campion and Christopher Berryards, Revonda Starnes, Jesper Lindgren, and appearing in the second time on our show, Philip Schaus.
So the shout-outs wouldn't be complete without giving you, Claudio, a huge thank you for all of the hard work that you've put on this show. You are so incredibly flexible, open to trying anything. And sometimes, I ask you, look, do you mind if we do another episode this week? You go, yeah, no problem. So easygoing, such a pleasure to work with. And, we both have the same vision for this podcast, the same passion for the band. We're two like-minded people, and I think we work so well together. And I think it shows in this podcast. And honestly, this podcast is so much better with you here. So thank you very much, my friend.
Well, thank you. Thank you for your kind words. I cannot thank you enough for the opportunity of being part of this fantastic project. You are truly an inspiration for those fans who want to be part of the amazing KISS family. So you're always doing something new to get us together. So I think that creating this platform has allowed us and the fans share our love and passion for music, and especially for KISS. So I can't wait, man, to continue this journey with you.
So, of course, a huge thank you to you, the KISS Army, for watching and listening, for your comments, for your feedback, and your constant encouragement. We couldn't do this without you.
And, just to wrap it up, happy holidays and a happy new year, everyone. Stay safe, please. And we'll see you on January 16th. And remember, never stop rocking.
Hey, that's my line. Take care, everybody. The KISS Army Nation podcast has partnered up with Click T-Shop to offer our listeners a high-quality t-shirt with graphic design by Xander Graphics. Check out Click T-Shop at clickteeshop.com.